duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Good evening, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. First, our top stories. Vigilante committee members in Sulede Rua, Maritanaga Division, Far North region of Cameroon burned 3 men alive, believing them to be kidnappers and Boko Haram militants. However, the victims were later revealed to be innocent researchers whose presence had unintentionally alarmed the local population. Away from that, we'll take you to something else as media bosses in Cameroon are taking a strong stance against hate speech and tribalism, issuing a joint declaration that condemns these social ills. They are calling on the government to strictly enforce laws against hate speech, particularly within its own circles. Those are top stories. Stay with us for greater details. Once more, thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television for presentation. I am Immaculate Fogwe. Investigations are currently underway into the brutal killings of 3 researchers in the Far North region of Cameroon. Reports indicate that the researchers were mistakenly identified as Boko Haram terrorists while conducting their research program in the locality of Sulade Rua, that is in the Maritanaga Division, Far North region of Cameroon. We have greater details with Mala Glory.
The death of the 3 individuals in Solederoa in the Mayo-Tanaga Division, Far North region remains a shock to the entire country. The individuals, according to sources, are researchers who left Yaoundé to the Far North region for a research program. Unfortunately, they were mistaken for Boko Haram terrorists and were burned to death by yet to be identified individuals. In a recent communique, the governor of the Far North region confirmed the death of the 3 researchers in the Mayo-Tanaga Division, precisely in Solederoa. However, investigations have been opened to throw more light to the tragic death of these researchers and also to determine who are the authors of these terrible acts.
And away from that tragic incident, media bosses in Cameroon have taken up a tough stance against hate speech and tribalism in the country. In a joint declaration against the social ill, the media bosses challenged the government to ensure a strict enforcement of the gift against hate speech within the government circle. The bosses also told journalists that their code of ethics is betrayed 100% when they facilitate the spread of hate speech. Femi Armstrong Sanda tells us more.
The recent outing of media bosses in Cameroon on tribalism and hate speech was motivated by the growing concerns over the spread of hate speech and tribalism in the country, particularly on social media. This phenomenon has been fueled by various factors, including linguistic differences between English and French speakers, political rivalry, ethnic differences, and tribalism.
We believe that our platforms should be used to foster dialogue, understanding, and respect among all ethnic groups. We must not allow our outlets to become breeding grounds for division and hostility.
In Cameroon, hate speech often manifests as tribalism, with different ethnic groups such as the Bamilikes and the Betis being targeted. The Anglophone crisis, which started in 2016, has also contributed to the rise of hate speech, with separatists and government reporters engaging in online battles. As media owners and bosses, they have a responsibility to promote responsible journalism and combat hate speech.
So we are committed to promoting responsible journalism that prioritizes the greater good of our society over sensationalism and settling of scores. We call upon all media professionals to exercise caution and integrity in their work. So we urge public authorities to enforce existing laws against hate speech vigorously, even in government circles.
By taking these steps, Media bosses in Cameroon say that they want to play a critical role in promoting a more inclusive and respectful public discourse.
Now we talk something else. Works on the 131-kilometer stretch of road from Bikoko to Equinoxe alongside Tico and Mile 17 roundabout has been announced to run for 3 years. The information was made public by the Senior Divisional Officer for Fako Division, Viang Mekala, during a steering committee meeting that took place in Tico. The work will cost about 121 billion francs CFA, as Smart Jikan Gabriel tells us.
Traveling from Bekoko through Tico, Mutengene, Limbe to Equinoxe for some time now has been a huge headache to road users due to the numerous potholes on the stretch of road. The Tico Council Hall was the venue where members of the commission set up to rehabilitate, construct the Bekoko stretch of road leading to Equinoxe, convened to assure the people about the imminent start of work.
March 17. So since December, people were doubting. People were saying that they are not sure that the road is going to be effective. And it was good for us to come and reassure and to inform the population that works are going to start very soon.
As a result of the road work due to start, several people within Tico municipality have been denied building permits.
There are some people who have come to the office lately requesting for authorization to build structures. And I told them that I can't give them authorization because I don't know the dimensions, the width of the road. But I foresee where they want to construct that it will be structured because the project is qualified for double A. And the people back me to be a wicked person.
The construction work on the Bekoko stretch of road leading to Equinoxe via Tico and Mile 17 roundabout will last for 3 years and will cost 121 billion francs CFA.
It's 97 kilometers from Bikoko to Equinoxe, and you add another 14 kilometers. So it's around 113 kilometers of road. This money is supposed to be funded by foreign donors who will provide the money, and the company will just execute.
After the meeting, it was announced that the first phase of work that consists of demarcation will start this Thursday. Many are now hoping that the project is real and not a propaganda.
Smart Jikan Gabriel reporting there. Over to politics. Opposition political leaders are raining down criticism on the Minister of Territorial Administration over threats and intimidation. The minister has accused some of the leaders of provoking chaos and threatened them with imprisonment. To the opposition, such threats are unacceptable, while those close to the regime in power think the minister is doing his job of ensuring order in the political space. Babila Jonathan reports.
Member of Cameroon's lower house of parliament, Honorable Jean-Michel Ninche, lambasted Territorial Administration Minister Atanganji Paul over what he qualifies as another disgrace to his ministerial function and the nation at large, in reaction to threats of imprisonment against an unnamed political leader over calls for social unrest. Honorable Jean-Michel Ninche says the minister has no right to intimidate politicians. Honorable Ninche adds that the minister and the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) regime are creating an enabling environment for chaos to cover up their eventual failure in the forthcoming presidential election. So, Honorable Ninche, Cameroonians have the obligation to rise up and stop such maneuvers. On the other side, the blame is thrown back on the opposition.
How can you imagine an opposition leader who's preparing for elections would threaten to say if what he wants is not done, he's not responsible for consequences? What does he mean? They're the ones who threaten. I saw the guy of PCRN threatening. I saw watch him saying certain things, accusing whoever, or accuse the system. The guy of MRC doing the same thing. They're the ones threatening. And when the minister now reacts, they want to do a reverse psychology by blaming the minister for threatening. The minister never threatened anybody. The Minister of Territorial Administration is in charge of public order. He's in charge of the territorial integrity of this country. So he has the obligation to ensure that everything that is done in this country goes on smoothly. You already start by saying that the other guy is frauding. Meanwhile, nothing has even happened. You start by saying that other parties are frauding. And as they are doing electoral fraud, it means they are going to cause chaos. How do you know?
Meantime, both sides are urging Cameroonians to take up their responsibilities by preparing to make the right choice of a leader when the time comes.
And in other news, the Office of the Public Independent Conciliator has published its 2024 annual report shedding light on the performance of regional and council authorities in the Northwest region. While some progress has been made in decentralization, the report, however, highlights serious concerns including poor governance challenges, discrimination in the workplace, and the devastating impact of the ongoing Anglophone crisis that has been lasting for the past 8 years. Boostela, our Northwest Chief Correspondent, has more in the following report.
Council and regional assembly halls are meant to be spaces of governance and service delivery, but the newly released Public Independent Conciliator report suggests that governance in the Northwest region remains deeply affected by insecurity and structural weaknesses. The report, based on a public perception survey, evaluates the effectiveness of regional and council administrations. Key findings show that while the Northwest Regional Assembly has made efforts to implement projects, governance remains hindered by poor coordination, lack of financial autonomy, and unresolved legislative gaps. One major concern highlighted is the working conditions of the Regional Assembly staff. While some employees reportedly faced unfair treatment, favoritism, and delays in salary payments, others continued working on a voluntary basis since the institution became operational in 2021. Beyond administration, the armed conflict has worsened the situation. 2024 saw multiple attacks on council officials, with kidnappings and gruesome assassinations of municipal authorities by armed separatists. The wave of severely affecting the accessibility of council services. The report found out that Jakere, Nkor, and Bali councils were among the least accessible. Despite these challenges, the Regional Assembly say they achieved a 100% project execution rate for 2024, whereas community reports suggest that some projects were poorly implemented, raising concerns about transparency. The PIC report concludes that decentralization remains incomplete with a lack of clear financial guidelines and enabling legislation for the spatial status framework. The absence of standard working procedures and continued insecurity threatens the effectiveness of governance in the region. With local governance now at stake, the question remains, will the government take decisive action to improve regional governance, or will these challenges persist into 2025?
Northwest Chief Correspondent Boostela reporting there. Few hours to the celebration of the International Women's Day, civil society actors and human rights advocates are implementing sensitization campaigns on the field targeting women. In the Douala 3 subdivision, for example, the women were educated on their rights, and this is to curb the high rate of violence meted against women in Cameroon. Ese Lucilengu has more.
Violence against women remains a pressing issue across Cameroon. Statistics indicate that since the start of 2025, more than 15 women have lost their lives due to domestic violence, sexual assault, kidnappings, and more.
Il est question de faire comprendre à la femme ou à la jeune fille qu'elle n'est pas exclue du circuit.
To minimize this disturbing increase in cases of violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, human rights advocates are implementing sensitization campaigns.
To recognize what is violence against women and how we can eradicate the violence is very important. And that is the role of all the women, all the men, and all the authorities.
Few days to the celebration of the International Women's Day, civil society actors and human rights advocates organized a campaign in the Douala 3 municipality targeting women.
Equality, you can find it even in the constitution. There is no discrimination according to law. But we, the parents, we are the one, the society, the community, we are the one saying that you are a woman, you cannot do that. And we have to focus on the law before acting.
The panelists educated the women on their rights and informed them about whom to contact for help in their communities.
Women have to know who is who in the community. That is the chef de bloc, that is the chef de quartier. You don't have to stay like that. And you don't know who or where I can go if I have a problem.
Et donc, les femmes ont besoin, n'est-ce pas, de mettre en avant leurs compétences, de mettre en avant leurs activités.
This gathering also provided an opportunity for the women to discuss on the 2025 theme, Accelerate Action, which calls for rapid advancements in gender equality, while encouraging the women to integrate into the society and aspire to leadership positions.
Asa Luciengo ending this first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. My guest tonight is called Vivian TABOD. She's an entrepreneur and business coach, and she will be sharing inspiring insights and perspectives on the importance of empowering women and promoting gender equality. Good evening, Doctor. It's a pleasure having Talking Point tonight.
Good evening, Immaculate. Good evening, televiewers, and it's a pleasure being with you all tonight.
Doctor, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
My gosh, my background. I am a medical doctor, I'm a pediatrician, and I'm also a business coach. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a forever living products networker, and I'm also a mother of many. So that's it took me some years to be a doctor. It took me 23 years, and the others just came after that.
Have you ever experienced situations where people assumed you weren't capable of doing something because you're a woman, and how do you handle those situations?
Yeah, it happens all the time. You can't be a woman and you don't go through situations like that, you know. All you need to do is to prove to them that you are not who they think you are. That's why I tell every woman you need to know your values. You need to know your values. So you know your values, you won't let any man walk on you. No. And the first thing is just your intelligence. You know, I used to be very, very smart at school, and I mean just being ahead of some boys or other men, they respect you for that. So women, that's what we need to do. Try to put yourself on top. Don't accept a mediocre position or a low down. No, try to be on top.
How do you think societal expectations around women's roles in the home and family impact their ability to pursue careers or start businesses?
To be willing to learn. That's the same. They say if you give somebody, you give a woman a lemon, it gives you a lemonade. You give the woman a sperm, it gives you a baby. You give a woman a peas, it gives you a beautiful home. So that's exactly what we need. We need, you know, men you need from your women. Treat them nicely, take care of them, and they'll give you all what you need. And we women, we can excel to the highest level in this country.
It's very obvious that playing the role of a wife, mother, and also working at the same time can be quite challenging for women. How can women better manage work and their family life at the same time? What are the steps they need to respect?
Yeah, work-life balance is that. In fact, that's a very, very crucial thing to talk about, because it affects so many women. Most of us, even myself, I went through that, and it took me some years to be able to balance it. You know, balancing your work, you know, it's like a triangle. You have your workplace life, you have your family life, and you have your personal life. So we try to balance all this. It's true, it's not equal on all the sides, but when you go to the office, you spend most of your time in the office. 8 hours a day means 40 hours a week when you are up. By the time you get home, you have just a few hours and you're going to bed. So we spend most of our time at our workplace. So we have to make our workplace very comfortable. Try to live with people happily, put away all grudges, the unforgiving heart. Make it look like your home. You should be in the office as if you are in your house, because that's where you spend most of the time. And then respect, mutual respect, respect for your bosses, respect for your subordinates, respect for the men will respect the women, and just make the environment very cordial. And then back home too, don't forget you have kids. If you have kids already, those kids, they need your time. They need your presence. Your husband, when you got married to him, there was no work. Oh, I'm busy at work. I have too much work. No, you had time for him. So when you have all this in mind, you create time for everybody. Your children need to see when they're going to bed. If they go to bed when you're not home, you try as much as possible to get up early enough to be able to see them and talk to them and pray with them before they go to school the next morning. And then the third part of the triangle is your personal self. We do a lot for others and we tend to forget ourselves. That's what really pushed me to create the 50+ club, because I'm like, we need to start thinking about ourselves. What do we have to do? Even though you need to balance all this. I was so busy I didn't even have time to go to the hairdresser to do my hair or to do my nails. I didn't even have time. You didn't have time how? You can create time. All is just putting down your goals for the day and then trying to prioritize them. And make sure in your priority checklist, you are inside that list also.
Have you ever felt in your life like you had to work harder or prove yourself more because you're a woman? And can you tell me about a specific experience where you felt that way?
I had to work harder to prove myself as a woman, yes. Yes, this one happened when I was appointed the vice assistant director of country sales manager for Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, and everything. You're meeting these people, and there's so many of them, women like men, and I'm like, I'm just a doctor, I'm not an administrator, I'm not this, what do I need to do? That one pushed me a lot, and what I did, I signed on a Success magazine website, and I was receiving success information daily. I made it a habit every morning before I leave the house. I have 30 minutes to read something concerning success. And that helped me a lot, because it pushed me into the personal development, finally understanding who I am and who is a me. Talk before much, I was that shy, timid type, but from the day I understood that God put a special talent in me, I had to work hard to bring it out. And when you do that, believe me, the men, they respect you. They respect you is because some of us women, we are trying to shy away from some of the things we need to do. And that's why they look at us and say, what we know is just this or that. No. We are women. We are multitask. I tell people, when God created a man, he put the man to sleep and remove his rib to make the woman. That's what my Bible says. And now, nothing about the conversation between God and the woman was recorded in the Bible. So God told us on special things. We are so special that we need to use those special things God told us to be the light of the world.
What's your own definition of success, and what does it mean to you personally?
Success is relative. Success is relative. They'll tell you, a child will tell you I'm very successful because no more pee on the bed. That's a success. An 18-year-old will tell you I'm successful because I can now drive a car. A woman will tell you I'm successful because I just got married, had kids. They say, no, I'm successful because I'm having a good job. Immaculate is earning this amount of money in Equinoxe. She's a successful woman. No, it's relative. To me, success means fulfilling life. If I feel I'm on the right track, on the purpose for which God created me to be, then I'm successful. For now, I can tell people I'm successful because what I'm trying to do is just impacting lives. Trying to make other women know that it's possible to be who you want to become. And it's never too late. At any age, you can do that. That's why my 50+ club, I tell them every day, real life begins after 50. That's when you start doing things and impacting many more women. Because the day you die, they will not say, Vivian was good, she was rich, she had houses, she had this, she had... No. How many lives did you impact before your death? I think that's what really matters a lot.
And how do you think women can support each other in breaking down stereotypes and achieving their own goals?
Yeah, all that boils down to love. To me, we lack love amongst women. That's the gospel truth. A woman most often don't want to see the other woman progress more than her. I don't know, we need to start. So one of the mantra you tell yourself is that I am Vivian. I'm not competing with anybody. I am unique. Well, once you have in your mind that you're not competing with anybody, then there's no need competing with other women. Oh, this one is like this. She wants to show that she can do this. And that's how jealousy comes in. If we women could just love ourselves like women and knowing that we have a common goal, impacting the world and bringing up the children the rightful way so that the future generation will also be a wonderful generation, I think we are going to go very far. So women, and when you are a woman and you're a post of authority or what, think about other women. Employ other women, train them, teach them. We are all willing to. There are so many women out there who are willing to learn. The fact that he doesn't have this big degree or this doesn't mean that he cannot do what you want the person to do. So I think we should just be open to teach. And for example, when I step out, I want to employ somebody. I'm looking for people who. I'm not just looking for people who know. I'm not just looking for the know-how. That's not all. But I want to see people who are willing to learn. People who have a character, because character is what destroys us a lot. If you are not willing to accept your faults and see how you can work on it to improve on it, then you have a problem. But you have some women who are willing to change, who are willing to learn, who are willing. You see, they are teachable. They are there. They are available out there. If you employ those women, you will not regret. I've tried before, not once, not twice, and I never regretted. Even though I think this one did not go, she just ended with a high school degree, high school diploma. The person who will do the work that the first degree cannot do.
And now, what message do you have for women ahead of the celebration of the International Women's Day, which will take place on Saturday?
The way I look at the 8th March, International Women's Day, yesterday I was giving a talk somewhere, and I told them, to me, it's a time of reflection. It's more of a time of reflection. It's not all about drinking, dancing, wearing uniforms. To me, that's the list of the priority list. You are a woman. This is 8th March coming. What are your goals for this 2025? What are you planning to do this 2025 that you know is going to impact your nation, your community, your environment, even the area where you live? How do you, not what people perceive you, because people can have wrong impressions about you. What do you think about yourself is the most important, and what your God thinks about you. So this is 8th March. There's a theme for this year, that's right. But you know when they talk of automation or something like that, how do you do to make yourself autonomous? Do we have to keep depending on men? No, we need to do something that we can. Especially those of us in Douala, we make money in every way. You should not be a woman and have one stream of income. There's a problem. You have to look for multiple streams of income. Anything you sell in Douala, you can make it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when you make it, you are capable to sustain the children, your husband. In difficult times, you can be of assistance. You're able to feed your family, your parents, and so on. And it gives you that fulfillment, that joy, that happiness that we're talking about.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian TABOD, for accepting my invitation on Talking Point tonight.
Thank you, Macleod. Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day to every woman watching me live. I can just wish you all the best. I know really that you are the best. You are the best. Let nobody deceive you. There's no one on this planet Earth like you. You are unique, wonderfully and beautifully made by God. So put that in your subconscious mind and live as somebody who is wonderfully and beautifully made. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Dr. Vivian TABOD, entrepreneur and business coach. And that's what put an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for always staying with us. Coming up next in some few minutes is the program Equinoxe, presented by Serge Alain Odu. From us to you over there, have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.